Hi everyone, it's Rita. I just did a humanity share for this week, and then I just opened up the AKASHIC records. I referenced it as, and so I use a prayer that was channeled by Dr. Linda Howe, who's the first person to get her doctorate in AKASHIC studies. I've been doing more AKASHIC readings, and they're normally two something. I usually have a discount going, but so right now they're $144 for June, $144 for 60 minutes. And then next month they'll be $175. And if you would like to buy more than one as a credit, let me know, because I can do that. If you don't have time for June, or if you've already done one, I'll honor that if you wanted to pay in advance. But I've got so there's a prayer that I read, and I insert what I'm opening the records for. So I opened up magnetism and gravity on planet Earth. And so normally I've been writing stuff down, and then because because I ask questions and then I hear the answers, or I sometimes see stuff. So I heard, as soon as I opened it up, it said there's an equal force or pull, and magnetism is more about energy. And it's a relationship. The magnetism is more of a relationship, so the other planets and the moon and stuff, all I'm hearing are all that the way that they move is about magnetism. Okay, and so I'm not a scientist person, so just so you know. They're like, we know you're not a scientist, Rita, but you're very smart. So that's funny. They're telling me to own certain things. So okay, I'll own that I'm smart, but I'm not schooled or educated in this. So what do we need to know? Like, what's important to know? Like, what about, because I was listening to Terrence Howard, and he was talking about magnetism versus gravity. It's like light attracts light. It's resonance. So they're telling me I could open up the AKASH of the Tree of Life, which would be kind of cool. They're like, that's more of Metatron's domain, but you could do it. You have Metatron's support to do that. So that's cool. Maybe that's what I'll do next, is a Tree of Life. Just remember that there are systems on your planet that were created based on what was available at the time. And so people just kind of stick with that. So they're saying it's sort of like one of the ways that we create with the double slit experiment. If you're not familiar with that experiment, scientists were passing light through a structure, and then when you looked into the structure, the light changed direction. And so they're saying that we influence everything in our environment this way, and if there's more than one scientist and they have the same preconceived notion, they will be able to create in your reality. And it's happened time and time and time again. So it's important not to have preconceived notions about, so is it important not to have preconceived notions? Of course. Of course it's important not to have preconceived notions about anything, because you will create, in that you will create whatever you want, which is why people do healing work before they do certain things, because if you don't, then that's where the subconscious beliefs come in, and you will create based on ego or fear. So that's why healing is so important. And the law of attraction has a lot of that energy. So, and resonance, which is all about the magnetism, sort of from a different space. So what do we need to know about magnetism? Are there things we need to know about magnetism and gravity? The more you drop the understanding of the gravity, certain things will shift on your planet, and it's all part of the vibration rising. That's why people like Terrence Howard will be listening to their guides and sharing. He happens to be a famous person with affluence, and so that is why you're hearing him. But there are other people like him that don't have that level of affluence, that are sharing very similar things, and more of those things will be shared. So these concepts that we've had that are used as a basis for so many things will shift. It's part of the vibrational shift on your planet, Rita, but it's also part of what we described in the humanity with share, which is as you question certain things, those structures will cave in or drop. So magnetism should be, for most people, yes, people like Terrence Howard and other scientists will use the magnetism for propulsion, for generating all sorts of things on your planet that will be beneficial. And so I asked, was that like, did Nikola Tesla use that? Nikola Tesla was so far beyond that. He created machines that were not contingent on the timeline. So he created machines where you could go back, considered go back in time, but everything is accessible from your moment. He created devices to go back and see aspects of your history, because once you get rid of the timeline concept, everything is available to you. Just like when you go into the Akashic Records, Rita, everything is available to you, past, present, future, which is why, part of why you were drawn to Terrence Howard to hear about ether, and you had discovered this when you first started going into the Akash, that ether was one of the fifth elements, and we will just say that ether was dropped because it did not conform to the narrative of the time. It would empower you more if you understood ether. It's almost more than a vibrational history, the Akash, even though you reference it as a vibrational history. Like molecular, like cellular. That's cool. What else do we need to know about magnetism and gravity? Imagine yourselves bouncing, just like Rita, when you went to the trailhead near Enchantment on Boynton Canyon and you felt like you could fly. The energy is not only very powerful there, but there's a magnetism around it for certain people. So focusing on your energy, keeping your energy high, keeping your frequency clear, it just allows you to access more and more. So do we need to know more about, yes, I was like, do we need to know more about magnetism? And Yes, they're like, yes, go back into the records. This is getting ready to finish because we have 10 minutes here on TikTok. So blessings and love. I'll do some more.